All right. What the Kevin Brady is saying, the ranking minority member, certainly on the House Ways and Means Committee, the guy who came up with the tax cuts that we got, is this notion that we get, heavy dependency from China on the drugs and related supplies that we really depend on. About 70% of them are coming from that neck of the woods. So the administration kicking around the idea, at least Larry Kudlow raised it, that maybe we entice those companies back from that region, cut their tax rates in half, they're already pretty low right now, to incentivize them back to our shores. Let's get the read on all of this with Labor Secretary Eugene Scalia, joins us out of Washington, D.C. Secretary, very good to have you. Is that being given serious consideration, sir?
I think that, yes, our dependency on other nations, particularly China, is something that is getting a careful look as we examine what our economic future is going to look like as we pull out of this coronavirus pandemic. And earlier this week, Neil, as you know, the president took action to prevent federal retiree funds from being invested in Chinese companies, including Chinese munitions manufacturers. That was not in our national security interest. It wasn't in the interest of those retirees, some of whom are military, because of some risks that are presented by these Chinese companies. That's just one example of a reappraisal that I think will happen about our dependence on other countries, particularly China.
You know, the reaction to cutting the corporate tax rate already pretty low in half for some of these companies, I don't know how you sort that out, Secretary, for those companies that are going to look over and see, well, why is their rate half what mine was? Or the American people's reaction when a lot of them are clamoring for more of these $1,200 checks. Do you have any position on either?
My position is that generally we are reopening. As you just emphasized a moment ago, it's been an extraordinarily difficult time for the American people. So many lives lost, so many families disrupted, and so many people out of work. But we're now pulling out of that, and we need to take a look at additional measures to sustain American manufacturing. That has been an emphasis of this president from the day he began running. It was NAFTA more than anything else that prompted the president to run. USMCA has been one of his great achievements, and that was about saving American manufacturing, saving American jobs, and I think continued focus on that makes sense. In terms of other measures, let's see what we need. Congress, the president acted so quickly in March. There's been a lot of stimulus in there. And the focus now, from my perspective, is on the reopening.
You're the Labor Secretary of the United States. You're more familiar than anyone with the job losses that have piled up and those filing for unemployment claims, Secretary, where now, over the last 8 weeks, 36.5 million Americans have filed for such benefits. Fears that the unemployment rate could jump up to 20%, even test the all-time highs of close to 25% during the Great Depression. What do you think of how bad this gets?
Let me take issue with one phrase that you've used, Neil, which is job losses. There are tens of millions of Americans that have been put out of work, and it's a great hardship for them. But many of those jobs are not lost yet. And I've seen 3 different surveys over the last week showing that about 90% of Americans on unemployment think it's temporary, think they're going back to those jobs. What we want to do now is get them back there safely. The longer the reopening takes, I think the harder that gets. But this is a really unusual economic circumstance we're in. It did not result from problems in the underlying fundamentals as, for example, the Great Depression. So I think analogies there are of limited value. What we have is a self-induced pause in our economy.
Let me give you a current one, if you don't mind, sir. And that is what's happening now with the tensions between ourselves and the Chinese. And the president is obviously very concerned today. We're not being level with him when talking about the coronavirus. Right. Obviously talked about, shielding our investments in Chinese-related firms. I get that, but it seems to me, and you're a closer read of this than I'll ever be, that China deal, that trade deal, is all but up in smoke right now. Do you have any concern that the jobs and the bang for the buck we were hoping to get from a trade deal, because we trusted the Chinese would make good on those commitments, now is in doubt because we already know they weren't on the up and up about this virus?
Well, we'll need them to abide by their commitments, obviously, and I think that assumes greater importance, not less, because of other misgivings that they've caused from how they handled the virus. But I think as we look forward, again, there are millions of Americans out of work. What we're focused on is making that temporary by safely reopening the economy right now, putting people back to work. And as we reopen across the country, we're already seeing that. This has been so fluid, Neil, and we're finally seeing people getting back to work. It's a good sign.
Sir, thank you very much. It's always good chatting with you.
Yeah, appreciate
the Labor
it.
Secretary of the United States.